So I think this is a really good time to segue to something that I've always noticed about Clif Doyal. You've always been kind of a champion for the underdog. You've kind of always been known as somebody who takes an artist from maybe relative obscurity and then releases them out into the world, and then they blow up, and you know about this before anybody else. Um, what exactly tends to get you to gravitate towards an artist that is relatively unknown, and then just happen to know?
I think the music comes first, then the performance, and I just know it when I hear it, and I know it when I see it. I've been really blessed my whole life to know great talent, and I have been very blessed to work with many, many successful artists who weren't successful when we started, and I'm not trying to take credit for their success.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I did play a part in their success, and I knew in my heart that they would be successful. And I've always had a knack, but I look for the song, the style, and even if the song is not quite right, if the quality of the talent is there, we can find songs, or I can connect them to other people to write the songs.
Hmm.
Uh, but the voice and the talent has to be there. The drive and determination has to be there. And you don't know that stuff by just hearing somebody. You have to meet them, you have to get to know them, you have to work with them a little
Right.
while. But I generally picked artists that had the talent first and the mindset and the live performance. And generally, if they had all that going, they had the mindset to go with it. And when I say the mindset, the in it to win it, I call it in it to win it. And you have to be in it to win it, or you're not going to make it.
Yeah. Perseverance.
Perseverance and knowing, seeing, I call it see it to be it. You
Love
have
it.
to see it to make it happen. If you don't see it, no one else is going to see it either.
It's funny you say that, man. Now that I'm doing this again, um, I feel like I've built a pretty decent sized base of former guests that I've had on the show. I mean, you talked about Alan Frazier and kind of being around one of your heroes. I've experienced that multiple times, and it is a huge blessing when you're able to talk to somebody you looked up to so much on an even keel. I love it, and but now that I'm in this again after such a hiatus of not doing it, it's almost like I'm starting over again, and it's hard to get your name back out there and rebuild that trust. So
Sure.
again, thank you for that, Cliff, for coming on here. Uh,
Oh, absolutely. I'm
just
honored.
reaching out to PR places and stuff like that. I'm just a little guy trying to create something from my studio storage shed, right, and trying to make it look good and sound good. And I'm an inquisitive guy, and I guess that's my talent. I know what to ask and when to ask it, I guess. But it's hard, man. It really is hard to get
Yeah.
your art out there and your talent out there, especially when you're the
Well,
little guy.
yeah, it's hard to get it out there, and then it's hard to. I think the main thing is that the driving principles that have always adhered to is like do good work, treat people the way you want to be treated, be totally transparent
Hmm.
in all your dealings.
Right.
Never sell something you can't deliver. Never make a promise you can't keep.
Yeah. I
So
think
don't make promises.
I think my struggle right now is trying to figure out the balance between perseverance and annoyance. Right?
Right. No, I get it. I get
Because
it.
man, I would rather get a no from somebody than be ghosted, right? Like
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
tell me no. I'm okay with that. I can handle no. No's an easy word for me to handle. I'm not going to accept it, but I can handle it. But
And
like,
no generally means not now in my
right,
world.
absolutely. No does not mean stop in my world, at least
No.
in trying to get somebody, to talk to. And by that grace, I would love to talk to Hannah, by the way, if you can make that happen. That would be amazing. She'd be
Well, we'll certainly give that a shot.
she would be fun to talk to. World's most famous mermaid. I can sell
Yeah,
that, Cliff.
she's an amazing talent, I tell you. And
Oh, I've been following along with your words about her for a while, so I agree. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, it was really cool. And again, I think that um, I don't think anything happens by accident. I mean, I think that I think I've been blessed to be in the right place at the right time and have the be prepared. I call it when preparation meets opportunity.
Mm,
If you have the opportunity come your way, you better be ready to grab it when it's there. And you better have the goods to back it up. And I guess that's how I've ended up working with, the acts that I've worked with that have gone on to be some of the biggest acts in the business. It's just, I was not only in the right place at the right time, but I could deliver what they needed at that
right.
moment.
And you put something out on your social media, I think yesterday or the day before, about really respecting the artist who gives kudos to the people behind the scenes.
Yes.
And I'm a big component or proponent of that on this show. I've always tried to talk to the people that don't get into the spotlight, the people that are behind the curtain, so to speak. I think that's just as important, if not more so, than the people who are in the spotlight. Because without those people behind the curtain, nothing happens in front of the curtain. So
Well, it's
there's a lot of interesting stuff behind the curtain.
Yeah, and it really is. It for me, it becomes a partnership with the artist. I have their vested interest at heart. They're doing the work, and we're working together, and we have goals and visions, and we're executing them. And you have to have a plan, but you also have to just know that there's a certain amount of things. If you're doing the right thing, people are going to notice, and they're going to just like you reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd love to interview you." Well, I've sent artists to you, years ago, and I've followed you. I know who you are, and so when you reach out, it's that you made the effort. You made the effort, and I'm like, wow. Well, not sure why he would want to talk to me, but yeah, I'd be happy to
Well,
talk. But again,
I
it's
think more than that too is, as an interviewer, you have to understand that it's really difficult to get somebody to talk to you without cultivating trust with that individual first.
of
Because
course,
essentially, for the hour and a half we talk or whatever, however long it is, your career is in my hands. So, like, I can sensationalize it. I can try to, throw you a fastball or instead of a curveball. There's a lot of things I can do, and an artist will know that. And so if I can't cultivate that trust beforehand, it's really difficult to get somebody to say yes. So,
sure.
and that's what you're. I think that's what you mean by just be true to who you are, and people will notice. And that's hopefully what's gonna happen is what I'm kind of leaning on. But yeah, I understand like the trust it takes to talk to somebody that you don't have trust for, and like I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good body of work. We've got like 400 episodes now, so.
Yeah, you do. And again, that speaks for itself and that opens doors for you. And it's just like me, I know a lot of people come my way because they've heard that I've, worked with Toby Keith, or they've heard that I was agent for Little Texas, or they've heard that I worked with Lone Star, or that I worked with Ricochet, or fill in the blank of artists I've worked. They know that I've worked with Kylie Morgan when she was a teenager.